What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. It seems that a new whistleblower has come out online anonymously, and it is making waves in the UFO community. I've got all the details. Let's take a look. Please, Vetters, hit that like button. That really helps out the videos. And, of course, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. Put out new videos every day about the UFO phenomena. Let's go. Let's jump into this thing. So I've got it pulled up. Right here on Reddit. The account has since been deleted, but again, this thing is making huge waves online, so I'm going to read it. They've got some documents they've included. I've also got a tweet from John Greenwald Jr., who added a little context. I think people are going to be surprised. I have to admit, this one's a little confusing, so let's jump in. All right, it says, I was a private contractor for various DoD agencies. I'm speaking now because this shit has gone too far off the deep end. I will provide evidence. Some, right? I really did not want to write this. However, after careful discussion with colleagues, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with what my gut tells I should do. That's already weird. Right? I cannot sit on the sidelines while I observe the UAP field / narrative get filled with half-truths and obfuscations. In this post, I will be providing evidence of documents that cannot be FOIA'd. I'll even give my perspective on anti-gravity and the overall landscape of the current UAP field when it comes to intelligence agents that are masquerading as, quote, truthers. What I speak on is based on my own experiences and observations from being in the field for almost 4 decades. Okay. I have a degree in electrical engineering from a college somewhere in the south of the USA. What? That's a red flag right there to me. There's already been 2 red flags that we're already just getting in. Why write it that way? That's such a weird... I've never heard anyone say that in my life. I live in the south of the USA, as this guy put it. You don't say that. I literally have never heard anyone say it like that. I live somewhere in the south of the USA. What? I will not say the name of the school because it will be very easy for people inside DOD to track me down if I give away too much, considering not many were recruited from the college that I graduated from. Well, you just gave a clue right there. If this is true, right? So another red flag, in my opinion. I was recruited shortly out of college to work in black operations, specifically on the electrical engineering, microelectronics, and pulsed power side. These black programs do not necessarily care about your academic credentials as much as they are about 2 things. Can you think outside of the box, and can you shut the F up about it? I do not know everything, but the things I am sure of, I will write about here. Why am I doing this now? Because I was given 8 months to live, and I will do what I can while alive to try and make a positive impact in the community. I sometimes cannot sleep seeing some of the blatant lies being fed to the community. Let me put this bluntly before I get into the anti-gravity and tech. Okay, well, if it is true that this person has 8 months to live, that's... my condolences to this person and their families. I will say this. That's not typically a medical thing. Doctors don't give, doctors don't say things usually like that. They'll tell you a roundabout time. You have 2 to 6 months, maybe 12, depending on this, that, the other. There's so many other factors. So that's another red flag to me, if I'm being honest. Right? Doctors don't say, well, you got 8 months to live. They have no idea. Again, they'll give you a window of time, but based on many different factors, that window would change, right? So, again, very unusual. But let's jump in. Let me put this bluntly before I get into the anti-gravity and tech. Jay Stratton and Lou Elizondo are one of the reasons that various inventors of ZPE, zero-point energy devices, have never seen the light of day. They have been personally responsible for destroying careers, families, and the mental well-being of various physicists and engineers over many decades. Lou used to be a counter-intel agent for more than one WUSAP, a waived, unacknowledged special access program, and did not get involved in the subject, quote, by chance. He and Stratton were involved long before the whole ATIP-OSOP saga. Lou is not a bad person at heart, but it makes you wonder why he has done what he's done in order to destroy others. I know many of you may judge this statement and think that I am defending him. It doesn't sound like you're defending him at all. Right? It sounds like you're literally accusing him of a lot of things there. So that's another red flag to me. Where are we at here? I know many of you may judge this statement and think that I'm defending him, but there are many good things that he has done in this field as well that many people will likely never know about. With that said, he is definitely compromised. Hey guys, I'm defending him, but just so you know, he has he's compromised in terms of putting United States national security above all else, and that is a concern at this point. It is a concern because the DoD has long been infiltrated with warmongers and profiteering cranks that want to keep all of this tech and knowledge silent for the sake of their own self-preservation. I gave him the benefit of the doubt at first, but this is getting to the point of blatant stupidity. Wow, it really sounds like you're defending this guy. Calm down, dude. You keep defending Lou here. To a very small extent, I don't blame them. However, to hide this from humanity is becoming more of a curse than anything else. People have the right to know. Jay Stratton, however, is a real scummy person. What? Scummy person? Don't get me started on the shit that that guy has done to some of my colleagues. I have zero sympathy for that man. So what's interesting is here he writes shit, and the title he doesn't write shit. And then even within this, he took out the fuck. There was a fuck in here, and right here. So, but then he writes shit down here. So, I mean, that's whatever. It's a small thing, but just, again, so many weird things about this. I have zero sympathy for that man. That's what he says. Jean Kirkpatrick is a pawn. He lies through his teeth like Ron Pandolfi has and does. To add, please do not ask me about Jack Sarfati. He is considered a laughingstock to those involved in various programs. What? Also, there are just over 2,000 legacy programs working on reverse engineering UAP. 2,000? What? 2,000 programs? Okay. Hal Puthoff recently said on Joe Rogan that we have more than 10 recovered craft in the USA. The number's in the hundreds at a minimum. Interesting. Jeremy Corbell is a useful idiot in many cases. Some of what he releases is accurate, but when he says that us humans cannot replicate or understand any propulsion systems that craft use or whatever nonsense he spews is a blatant lie. I doubt he actually knows the truth, to be fair, so I do not believe that he is deliberately lying. Okay. These are just weird things to say about people. No evidence, no specific details about anything. Dave Grush, Jake Barber, Mike Herrera are the real deal. What? That's a red flag for me, no offense. Mike Herrera? Why bring him up? All right, this is so weird. That's such a red flag to me. I respect them and their efforts. Let me say now, please do not ask me about Immaculate Constellation because I know nothing of any of those alleged specified programs. What does that have to do with Dave Grush, Jake Barber, Mike Herrera? That's a Jeremy Corbell release, right? He says, I'm an electrical engineer, not a spy. However, being in this field, you pick up tradecraft methods and learn how to, quote, run with the wolves, so to speak. And see, again, this is an interesting mistake. Here he puts one... Up here, he's got parentheses, right? You see that? And then here he's using the single parentheses, whatever that's called. Just weird. Just inconsistencies. Human beings, through both novel innovation and also through reverse engineering, not mutually exclusive, have mastered anti-gravity to a certain degree. See, this is also weird. You know what it is? It's like multiple people wrote this. That's what it feels like. Just saying. So, if he's not a spy, he's just an electrical engineer. How does he know about half of these things that have nothing to do with him? Right? Again, doesn't make any sense. When I say certain degree, and again, here he puts that in quotes, I mean operational craft that can leave our solar system. It sounds nuts, but it is the truth. See, this doesn't fit. None of this fits the same person. This is an older person who's got 8 months to live, spent 4 decades in this program, and this is how they talk. None of this makes sense. Some have succeeded by means of pure human ingenuity, and others did it with access to recovered UAP materials. So basically, they got to the same point by just human ingenuity and recovered UAP materials, got to the same point. That also doesn't make any sense. This level of mastery exceeds anything that even our most traditionally, quote, secret mill programs have. Booz Allen, Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, MITRE Corp, Raytheon, Boeing, etc. all have their own versions of various anti-gravity technologies. There is a difference between gravitational shielding / repulsion and actually generating high-frequency gravitational waves. The pursuit of Thomas Townsend Brown is exactly where people should be looking. What? The pursuit of is exactly where people should be looking? That doesn't make any sense. Zero-point energy manipulation has to do with the EM vector potential. That is as far as I will go on that. Gee, I wonder why. I was involved in a project that utilized Tesla turbines, plasma, toroid chambers, microwaves, crystals, extremely strong rotating magnets, and various other obtainable components that generated many kilowatts of gravitational waves, or gravitons, as some call it, in a private BAE lab. The total cost of the project was just under $3 million USD to build a gravity generator. It can and has been done time and time again successfully. Gravitational waves are measured electromagnetically due to it being a consequence of the curvature of space-time itself. Metamaterials are not needed to generate macroscopic proof of concept gravitational phenomena, plain and simple. You will notice in some of the files I'm showing that the Soviets coined a term called rotational gravitation and believed that rotating masses acted as emitters and receivers of gravitational waves. I'm not going to argue with those in the comments that say this isn't possible, and I'm not going to argue with idiots that don't know how to think outside of the box. My question is this: if the Soviets thought it to be worthy of experimental investigation, then why is that not being done here? Oh, wait, it is. It's just going to stay forever classified. Forever. Ask Jay Stratton why he prevented multiple inventors from getting their own laboratory. Because many of the inventors he suppressed focused on rotating capacitors, something the Soviets pursued very quickly. I'm sure his $1 million book deal helped smooth over all the people he royally fucked, and then he takes that out. My beef is that we are classifying basic science that our adversaries are now discussing in more open forums and in peer-reviewed literature. It's bullshit. All for what? So that Lockheed can make science breakthroughs proprietary and own it? The closest I have seen anyone in the public domain get to describing how the technology works is Lieutenant Colonel Tom Bearden and a few others. So he only names him, but not the few others. The tough part of all of this is taking the theory and applying it to practical experiment. Not many can bridge that divide, but a small genius chunk of engineers and some theoretical physicists have. You want to know who a real high-level gatekeeper of this stuff is? Admiral John Mike McConnell. He currently works at Booz Allen, or at least that was the last I heard of his whereabouts. I realize now that being given limited time on this planet makes you think about what should really matter. I want the next generation to have a chance. P.S. The Tic Tac is ours. Humans, I worked on certain aspects of it personally. So the Tic Tac, the 2004 Nimitz Tic Tac encounter saying is ours. It's human-made. So, of course, they deleted their account. They didn't interact with anybody in the comments, yet they made it sound like they would in this post, right? And I don't want to talk about this, and I don't want to talk about... Yeah, but you don't talk about anything. You didn't respond to any questions, right? So, just so many red flags for me. But, you know, I'll put a link in the description. You can see it for yourself. Now, here's some of the documents he put out. This seems to come from Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies. So December 2nd, 2008, right? He's got all these documents here. And then this is the Tic Tac, allegedly, that they work on. So this is 4 years after the Nimitz encounter. Right. Just a bunch of documents. Again, I'll put... James Lukatsky. I will put links to this so you guys can see it. So let's go to John Greenwald Jr., what he had to say. Now, I have to admit, I wasn't expecting him to say this. He said, here's a sneak peek into what I look at when documents leak. This is what caught my eye from the Reddit post. Image 1, leaked today. Image 2, FOIA released to me. Image 3, DIA posting of the same file after I posted my FOIA release. This person had a color version of a document we know is real and printed on September 8th, 2008. But my version and the DIA's version, both black and white photocopies. The leaker posted today a color version of what appears to be the same exact page minus the 3-hole punch marks, though that could have been cut off when photocopied or a few options that may explain it. But regardless, my point stands about the color version. What's that prove? Doesn't authenticate all claims, but shows an interesting, albeit seemingly small, piece of the puzzle that proved that they likely have access to some stuff. So there you have it. What is likely the most uninteresting page to most is the most interesting page to me. P.S. If I'm unaware of a color version floating around prior to this, please let me know. And just to add, so these are the different documents, right? So he's saying this one, the guy put up, it's colored, right? And then these are the ones they put up, right? John Greenwald and others, right? So this guy's putting up the original, which... if you look at this, you see the text. That looks fake. This text doesn't match this text. So you have this, and then what's underneath it. None of that matches. This looks all like it was typed in. Does not look photocopied in any way. Just saying. This looks totally fake. And it's not color. This is the only thing that's colored. Is this little symbol, right? So you could easily take all of this information, basically, right? And then make a new one. That's it. You can just literally make a new one. And just to add one more image reported for Popular Mechanics, image 2 leaked today. Note what appeared to be vertical banding on the triangle and surrounding areas. This may indicate these pages were printed from the same color laser printer. So he's saying these two. He's talking about these lines right here. See all these. Well, you can't really see that, can you? Right here. Okay, you see all these lines right here? That's what he's talking about. Let's go back. So you can see these same lines right here, right? It's the same. Basically, it's the same. So, like, this is coming from the same printer. Right? So, look. Again, I'll put links in the description. You can go check this out for yourself. I personally see a lot of red flags myself. I think some of the things that, quote, give it some legitimacy don't really. Can be easily faked. And, again, it's just so easy to fake things. That guy didn't really say anything. Right? He literally didn't say anything. He just gave his opinion on a bunch of stuff. People eat it up because it's anonymous. And what are you supposed to do about it? Right? What are we supposed to do with this? It's all very weird. It seems so strange. It's so easy to manipulate the UFO community. I mean, it's so easy. It is so easy. All you need is a will to do it because you have an audience ready to eat it all up and take it all in as real. And people will defend this to the end of time. Of course, I can't prove it's not real. But that's not on me to prove it's not real. It's on them to prove what they're saying is real. And they literally gave nothing to back up what they were saying. but they want to be taken seriously because they know if they just put that in the UFO community that everyone will eat it up. So anyway, y'all decide whatever you want about it. All good. So again, I'll put links in the description. Check it out for yourself. All right, vetters, we'll see you in the next video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.